Hello and welcome to the Arena Sports Show. My name is Clauiee Grace Mpanza. Excited to bring to you yet another exciting episode of the Arena Sports Show. A little bit defensive today, but I mean, if Bafana Bafana can go into a qualifier trying to also be a tad defensive, we can get away with it too. Joining us on our episode today is, of course, Kholosa Biyana. I call her Fox. She is, of course, one of our best midfielders in the country. Quite defensive too. We're talking off air with Fire, saying that nothing gets past Kholosa. If you want a tackle done, she will definitely make sure that the opponent will not get by. And then we have, of course, next to her, Fire Khoabane, known, of course, official name even number Kipita, who joins us as well today. And then my favorite influencer, Mahlatse Mphahlele. We've got a stellar show. We'll start with you, Fox, because you are the rose among the thorns today. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? Are you enjoying the football qualifiers that have concluded?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I think so. I think it's been a great result for Bafana. Given what has been going on, it was very important for them to get the 3 points yesterday, and I'm glad they got the 3 points.
100% influencer on your side?
Yeah, good. It's nice to be back. I was telling you, see, you have got defensive midfielders here, so I'll do the sugar ranyana.
I'll do the sugar. Listen, I'll take it at this point because funny enough, Fire, when nickname yako confuses a whole lot of people because most Fires, you know, good kishugela umnandi. Mara wena babela bathi ay Fire, stop nonsense. Nothing gets past you.
Thanks for having me and greetings to all the viewers. Mina into le ukuthi Fire, it's like I told you. It's up to you how you use it. Yes, you can cook, have a nice meal, and you can ban somebody else's car for whatever reasons, and I think you can attest to that.
You can end careers too, apparently. But we'll get to that in just a bit. So much to talk about. But on that note, let's start by finding out what's been happening in your top stories.
It's not all rosy at SAFA House as the embattled South African Football Association has failed to pay its staff this month's salaries on time. Aluhuddin Peleka has become the latest South African cricket umpire to join the elite ICC panel of umpires after the international governing body unveiled its new lineup of umpires for the next 12 months. South African sprinter Akani Simbine is chuffed with the 60-meter bronze, his first individual gold global medal, but he has warned it didn't define his career as he eyes more individual medals at an international stage.
Well, we'll definitely get to discuss what's been happening in SAFA in just a bit, but we'll start by choosing our star of the week. I'll go first. Mine has to be Kimi Antonelli, a Formula One driver for Mercedes, and he is a rookie, of course, in 2025. He's been absolutely fantastic. When you look into the current standings championship, he is 5th with 22 points, and he's really been doing well for a rookie, so quite impressed by him. Fox, who has impressed you?
For me, it's Prudence. She's a 800-meter runner. Athletics, she's with Tax. I think she's done great the indoor champs, and yeah, she's breaking records there.
No, I absolutely like that, and I'm sure Ufaya is smiling. He's like, man, I should have started because that's my star of the week too. But you can talk to us about Prudence as well.
Yes. My star of the week is Prudence Kholosa. I mean, she's done the country proud, and yeah. I'm really happy and excited to see that Limpopo is really representing us well in terms of athletics. You know, Agani is here, like you can see before it was cast, so you can see there's more talent in terms of runners in Limpopo.
100%. The true North Gods influencer who has impressed you?
Let me just add a bit on Prudence.
You like adding on other people's things. Hey, you are that guy.
I think if you look at international athletics at the moment, I think for a while since the retirement of Usain Bolt, obviously Caster having had problems that she had with ICC, with IOC, the sport is crying out for a global superstar. And she can be one of the global superstars of athletics in the coming years. Sure. She's quite talented. I don't like this thing of people calling her new Caster. I think she must just do her own stuff. She must run her own race, but definitely, as South Africans, we should be proud that we've got something special in her.
Yeah.
But my star of the week must be Bafana Bafana.
Nice.
The 6 points, very important. Obviously, there was a bungle behind the scenes, which may come back to haunt us, but we are sitting pretty on top of Group C, and the World Cups look like a serious reality now. I think you guys must start saving money to book your flights. Today,
sort out your visas
that's
now.
if Donald Trump will allow you to enter the country. That's another story. But yeah, I think Bafana Bafana impressed me, and also a special mention to Level Mufugeng.
Yeah.
He played well in that first match in Polokwane.
And we'll definitely get to talk about that in just a bit. I think what's important coming off the Bafana game is also to just mention the fans currently. I mean, Kholosa, I know that you also follow cricket as well, so I just want to find out also from your side, when you're just looking into South African sports, I mean, it seems like we are really in a good space where you're having a Bafana now jumping on. For the longest time, it's been, of course, the Springboks, the Proteas. Now Bafana is coming to the party. But because I know you're also a cricket girl, talk to us about, you know, the Proteas and how they've been doing also in the latest perspective.
I think it's beautiful to see people supporting sports. I think especially Bafana. I think we've been crying out that Bafana hasn't been doing well, and they've done that very well in the past 2-3 years. I think they have the support of the nation. For as long as you do great for your nation, people will come out and support you. And I think for Bafana doing well, it means positive news for Banyana, because that's how you attack sponsorships. And with cricket, I think the guys did well, even though they lost in the final. So, yeah, I think it's positive. It's positive. They went to the final. This year we're also going to be seeing Women's Cricket 50 Over World Cup. And yeah, I think we're looking forward to it. Same, we'll be watching a Rugby Women's World Cup this year. So there's a lot of sports to watch. Also, Banyana is also playing Wafcon this year. So yeah, women's sport is coming up a lot, and I think we need to support women the same way we also support the guys' sports.
100%. I mean, influencer, when we talk about then South Africa being a sporting nation, for the longest time, the footballing side has been questioned. Where we are 2025, and really when you look into the projection as to then the following year, where do you think we are as a country?
Yeah, I think we're good. As Kholosa said, the Springboks defending champions, World Cup champions as we speak. They defended the title.
Yeah.
The Proteas, they continue to punch above the weight. Just that they just can't get over that mental block of really winning a final. The ladies were in the final not so long ago in Cape Town when we hosted the World Cup here. So there's been a good spirit. Bafana for the longest time has been the poor cousin.
The black sheep of the family.
Not so long ago they used to play in front of empty stadiums and all that thing. But since Yuko Bruce came, there's a good spirit against this team. I think the last 5 matches they played in front of full house stadiums in Bloemfontein, in PE. I was in PE for that match, in Polokwane now. So there's a good vibe around this team, and which is good to see. I saw a report that the Springboks is pretty much the most valuable sporting brand in the country.
Yeah.
I don't quite agree, because I think when Bafana are buzzing, everybody loves Bafana. You know, so across the board, the 3 main sporting codes, we're doing very well. We just need to qualify for the World Cup, probably try and push, maybe try and win Wafcon.
Yeah.
I think this Bafana team, if you compare with the other top countries like Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, Ghana, Nigeria, on a good day we can compete against them. And I think the target for our team now is to try and go to Wafcon and try and win it. Really, we can. We do have what it takes to win it. There is a good vibe around the team, and that takes you a long way. So I'm quite happy with happening. Netball, the ladies are also doing fairly well. We're still not quite where we're supposed to be against the likes of Jamaica, Australia, New Zealand, but they're competing if you think that there's no professional league in the country.
For sure.
So overall, I'm quite happy with what's happening in the country in terms of our sports.
All
we
right.
also have a very vibrant Minister of Sports who's making changes. You know, Mr. Gayton is doing his thing. So
and he's working hard to bring Formula 1 to South Africa. So I'm
you know what I mean.
Excited about that.
Yeah. So yeah, we're in a good space.
No, we definitely are. And then Fire, when you look into the style of play now of Bafana Bafana, because that's the criticism right now in the past few games against Benin and Lesotho, that yes, we won and it's great, and it becomes difficult to criticize a winning team. But now when you look into the identity, which is Laganjan, what have you made of Bafana Bafana?
Look, in the past, Bafana Bafana was entertaining, but they were not bringing anything home. But now they are playing this the way they are playing now, because sometimes you need to grind the results. It's not all the time where you need to, impress people and all this. So I think that now their focus is, let's go to the World Cup. Let's qualify for the World Cup, and anything else will be a bonus. We will give these people what they want, maybe after we got what we want. And I think now this is the best team ever, according to me, because it has got a lot of youngsters. So you can see they will play like for the next 6 years together. Then that's how other teams like your Brazil were doing. Young players into the national team, the next thing, Brazil is the powerhouse for the next 6 or 5 years, So that's what I see with this Bafana Bafana team.
And then, I mean, Fox, when you look into the middle of the park, you could argue that it was a bit non-existent in terms of the Benin encounter, because we were playing a lot of long balls where now we're bypassing the middle of the park. We see cross... I got trauma there a little bit because that's not his strength. I mean, but that's what we're seeing now with Hugo, what he's trying to do. What did you make of the game plan against Benin? Because, I mean, it's not like they were pushing. I mean, they were also had a mid-low block and they were quite defensive as well. So what did you make of us on the day?
I think the most important thing, Coach Hugo wanted to get the result. And I think the great thing about him and his team is the ability to adapt to the opposition they are playing. When they're playing Lesotho, when they're playing Benin, they know what they were going to face. Benin is a bigger, stronger team, especially in the middle. So they had to adapt to the opposition. The most important thing is you getting the result more than anything. You don't want to lose that game. You want to make sure that you get the 3 points first and the rest would follow. Doesn't matter sometimes how you play, as long as you get the result, because the results will get you to the next World Cup.
Can I ask you, I mean, it might be off the cuff here, but in terms of while you're playing, because when we're watching, sometimes we think, oh my goodness, it's such a boring game. But hey, we won. As a footballer at the time while you're playing, what goes through your mind when you're like, ish, are you enjoying it? You're not enjoying it, when you can see that this is not entertaining either for us?
I think the most important thing is to follow the game plan. The coaches set up a plan. The coaches show you the weaknesses of the team. We also know our own weaknesses. So sometimes we play based on the coach's plan for the day. So that's more important sometimes than you enjoying yourself, because you have to put the team first. And for us, when you win games, I think you enjoy it more at the end of the game, rather than trying to enjoy yourself on the field and then the next thing you don't get the results.
Influencer, we've spoken about Mshishi and really his presence in a Bafana setup, and I think you see how he's missing here, because when Shika is there, we do know that the entire team will be dancing, whether it be at Mahlatse, Sundowns, Bafana. We know what he brings. You've spoken about Jaden Adams as potentially then the next one who can try and take it up. If not Jaden, then Relay. With what you've seen from them, and really now the setup also alongside of course the players that complement them, are you convinced that we are the right step?
Yeah, I think we have. I'm a big fan of Relay. I'm a big fan of Jaden. But one thing I've noticed, and I think the players can help me here, it looks like Hugo still prefers Pesita as a 10. But also with Pesi, he has not really been himself over the last while. There's something missing there. Obviously, he'll still be key for us. I mean, he'll be here for the next few years. I think Pesi needs to come back to the Pesi of all that we know. If you have got Pesi there, you have got Lyle Foster, you have got whoever that he wants to pay him with, Lyle Foster there up front. We should be all right, because generally, barring injuries and stuff, you will always have Debza. And whoever they pair Debza with, he's got lots of options there. Ubas, Situal is still injured. So that playmaker role becomes very important. I think Rele can play there, Jaden can play there, even though Rele I prefer more as a winger, because then he's got enough room to get the ball and control and cut in. And he likes this bending shot, that the goal that he's got in Khoabane for Pirates. I prefer him there more as a winger, and I like Jaden as a 10 because of, I think he's just got a very, very superior football brain. He knows how to read a match, and also he's a very quiet guy who does not really talk much. He prefers to talk on the field. So in that sense, I think we are good. We do have a good team. It's just an issue of them keeping believing more and doing the right things, and hopefully we don't have to suffer too many injuries going forward, because the injuries will really be an factor at the back. We have got issues here and there, but
if you are relying on Gezane as a playmaker,
on the right, I'm quite happy with Sailor. On the left, I'm happy with Aubrey. Is that central midfield place where I feel, Gezane has improved a lot.
He has.
He has really, the guy's improved a lot.
Yeah.
But I think against teams which will ask too many questions, we may be found one team. But for now, we're okay, because I don't want people to criticize me for criticizing a team that is winning. We have a good team.
And
it's just an issue of just making sure that we stay on the right track. Yeah.
All right, so you mentioned the postman, and I want to find out from you, Kholosa, in terms of Basadine. I mean, we saw what he could do, and really that communication with Relay, I mean, they were really on song on his side, which I was quite impressed by. Talk to us about now that headache between Basadine and Modiba.
I think more than anything is experience. I think Aubrey has more experience playing international football. He has more experience playing in the Champions League. I think that's the difference, which I think Basadine could learn from him. It's crazy to see how he comes inside, like Aubrey. He becomes a midfielder sometimes, with really going wide. I think that's smart of him, but there's a lot of things he can take and learn from Aubrey. It's nice to see that you have a backup, that when Aubrey is not there, there's someone that can replace him or put a stand in on the left back position.
Yeah, just to add to what Kholosa is saying, if you check also with this team, we're strong. We've got players on the bench who are as good. Just look at the situation with Tanzania now. I mean, many teams will have a serious problem if you don't have a Tebo Mkwana in the team. We replaced him seamlessly with Ubas, as if and as I said, there are still other players who are injured. At right back, we are okay there. I know the coach likes the guy, but but still, I mean, on occasions where the situation called for a replacement, Mobi comes in and then he does the job. As central defender, you still have got Grand Kekana, you still have got a lot of other players who can come in there and play. Sure. Vala is still not back. There's no kick national team football in a long time. Mahopa was not even in this camp when you talk about the strikers, so you still have got Rainas. We have got Chokofatu Mabasa. When we have a crisis, Chokofatu can come through and help us. Goalkeepers, I know people have been making a lot of stories about the crisis. I don't think we have a goalkeeping crisis in the country. We're just not producing enough. If Ronan goes down, we can call Gos, we can call Vuma. So we're fine. We just need to make sure that we continue at this momentum. Let's qualify for the World Cup. Let's go to Wafcon and at the very least reach a semi-final of Wafcon. That's what's needed.
And then, Fire, just to wrap it up before we go hammer time in terms of course, what SAFA has, the decisions that they've made. We'll get into that a bit. But talk to us about the selection, the team selection, having, of course, majority of Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates players. I mean, for a long time, we've been crying for this as a nation to say, pick from the clubs that are doing well, because that's the proven method that helps. I mean, when you look into Germany, Bayern and Borussia Dortmund, those were the players that were dominating in terms of Germany. Same thing with Spain, Barcelona, Madrid. So now here we are as a nation, South Africa as well. The teams that are dominating, they're in the squad. The combinations that are really working for us. Talk to us about really what Hugo has done in terms of just selecting from the best in, of course, our league.
No, I think it's good. I mean, we need results, and the experience that Sundowns have, it helped us, because we find ourselves here because of Sundowns playing the African Champions League and all the tournaments in a top with the top teams. So it really have helped us, and now you can see people are coming in in trips and traps, and that is good. Pirates, Stellenbosch, Skukuni, now at least we've got Stellenbosch again playing in a continental tournament. So that will help us. That's how it should be. Because you play on merit. You choose people on merit. And in the last Wafcon, we had maybe 9-10 players from Sundowns. They really helped the country. So I don't think everybody would complain. Everybody's happy now that we are where we are. We are about to qualify for the World Cup. That's what we want.
That's all we need. And then I mentioned Hammer Time, man, being played in that Lesotho encounter after then, of course, getting 2 yellow cards. Influencer, talk to us about that. And I mean, on your top stories, you also mentioned staff not being paid. What khan an very SAFA house?
Yeah, someone said that place is called SAFA House. SAFA, SUFFER,
Oh my
not
goodness.
SAFA. Yeah, that's the mess that is that place. Look, it's extremely disappointing that at this level you will find a senior national team playing a player who is suspended. It shouldn't happen. And you know, I guess we'll have to wait and see what FIFA does from here, because the 2 things that have happened here, that we fielded an eligible player, he was not supposed to play against Lesotho, he played. That's problem number 1. For us, which can be some sort of a saving grace maybe, is that Lesotho didn't protest in time. But I'm told now they've written a letter to FIFA to say, hey, look at this thing. So FIFA will have to sit and decide on a sanction.
Yeah.
We may be docked those points from the Lesotho match, which can really be a problem. So it's something which should not happen, and it talks to some of the continuing levels of unprofessionalism at SAFA. I mean, as we sit now, Hugo Bruce yesterday played without having paid a salary because SAFA staff has not been paid. We're sitting here with an organization that this president is running around with the courts with serious allegations of corruption and the CFO. That's not good. So there are just too many things that are happening at SAFA. I mean, our junior national teams are being made to camp at a place called Van Valley in the south of Johannesburg. If I'm a parent, my kid is picked for under 17, they're going to camp there. I'll withdraw my child from going to that thing. It's a complete joke that's happening there. So there are so many things that are happening at SAFA which should not be happening. The minister, Gaten, has been talking very, very tough against what's going on there. I hope they really get to the bottom of this and really sort out this thing once and for all. I'm told the sponsors have not paid them. Hollywood bet matches, some of the matches are not taking place. Sasol apparently have not, I'm under correction here, but you know, I think they have not also paid them. That's why they can't pay the salaries. And we really cannot have this. And we need a situation where SAFA is stable. The players are doing their best on the pitch, guys.
Yeah.
The players are pushing. Then the administration must also do their work. These people, they get paid money to, they are not doing us a favor. It's their job. They must do their work. Otherwise, you know, things like this at the worst of times can filter into the players, because the players can somehow just, you know, just leave this thing.
Yeah.
And really, you don't want to qualify for the World Cup while players, just staff has not been paid.
Exactly.
The coach went to work yesterday without being paid. That's just unacceptable. It can't happen like that.
True, and I mean, when does he then call it quits? Imagine while you're trying to qualify, you qualify a team, and then you're just like, you know what, this is a lot. So
the next thing will be hearing that the players have not even paid their bonuses. That will be a problem.
No, definitely.
You don't want to go back in the day where European players used to pay for their flight tickets to come to Bafana camp. You know, it's just not. It's unfair. It's unfair. I mean, what must Kholosa go to camp if knowing that they're probably not getting paid? You know, because she's a professional. She needs to be. We must look after the players. We must look after our players, because players the only thing that players want is just to get to camp. The systems are in place. They focus on training and playing football. The rest of the stuff is what's happening in the office.
At this point, SAFA must say, hey, come assist us.
Yeah, this is the SAFA.
Talk to us, Fire, about that quickly.
No. Look, I think heads must roll. I mean, I remember a few years ago we celebrated that we've qualified for Wafcon or something. Only to find that somebody didn't really read properly.
In Mbombela.
And
they were dancing
the
there.
celebration.
You know, so now it's money, you know, and now it's maybe 3 points, and 3 points means qualification, you know. It's a very serious mishap. I mean, it needs to look deep into. So my view is, guys, let's do our job, and you know, We said players must do their job. Let us all do our jobs.
Definitely, we all need to contribute to that. And then when you look into the Banyana setup, Coach Desiree Ellis has also named, of course, her squad ahead of the Malawi encounter. Fox, talk to us about that squad, what you've made of it.
I'll make sure that they get their bonuses.
Oh, please, we'll send you to go fight for us.
Yeah, I think it's a great squad. I think it's a balanced team. And if you look at it, Coach mentioned that Bumi was going to get a 150th cap. Nogu was going to be celebrated. So I think more than anything, it's beautiful to see that our own country is celebrating their own players, because we don't want to see players being celebrated outside of their own countries. It shows that like the support that the association, SASOL, is giving to women's footballers. I think Bumi and Noku have done great, and yeah, the history of women's football started with them. So it's going to be beautiful to see, and I'm looking forward to going there and watching them and celebrating them. But other than that, I think Malawi is a good team to prepare. They run a lot, and which is what we are going to get and face when we go play in the Wafcon this year.
I think also, just to add, I think it's a nice touch from the coach. She has been sitting on 149 for a very long time now. For once I was worried, hey, she's not going to get it. Let's honor her, let's give her this milestone. It's something that even in the men's game, a lot of guys will never even get there. So that shows you the significance of the occasion.
For sure.
And also I think after this with Nuku, we really need to make a call now as to what we do going forward with her, because you can see there's a crop of younger players coming through. That she continue, or we celebrate and thank her to step aside, or so those things must be managed properly, because you don't want a player like her not knowing where her future you need to sit down with her and really come up with a plan. If the coach still believes she can do the job, then she continues. But if the coach does not feel she can continue, respectfully, with pride and dignity, she can step aside. But players like that who have given so much for the country, we really need to celebrate them, because I'm sure when Kholosa growing up, she looked up to Nuku. She has been a stalwart in that team, and it's important that those things we manage. And you can see in the PSL, we don't handle those things very well. A lot of players retire, nobody cares. People just keep quiet, and we don't even celebrate them. So we need to do this, and I guess the men's game can learn from the women's game. It's very, very important that these things must happen.
No, 100%.
Just to add on that, I think we with senior players, it's not only about playing. They help the coach in terms of giving experience and keeping order in the team. And these young ones, the 2000s, they come with their minds and all that. And when you've been long in the game, like the principles, they differ. These girls come from locations and areas, rural areas, and this and that. Some are not comfortable. The role of a senior player is not only to play. They're making their job easy for the coach. And these people need to understand these things, that it's not only about play. Preparation is the key factor in football.
It definitely is. And when we talk about preparation, I mean, Kholosa, you touched on support. And one thing that I always find quite interesting in terms of the women's game in South Africa is really the synergy amongst the coaches. I mean, a Shorty will call, Spuluhluhlu will call Coach Desiree, and then just talk about the young crop, the talent that we have as a country. What have you seen from your side amongst, the coaches within the country, and really being open, because not only Banyana Banyana, you also see it at club level.
I think the young players have done well. If you watch the last international break, Banyana played against Lesotho, and Coach Desiree included a lot of youngsters in that team, and they managed to get good results. And if you look at it, most of the team was dominated by under-17 players. We had an under-15, also about 3 or 4 under-15 players there. So I think South African football is going to the right direction. But I think there's a lot of things that need to be done for women's football to be at a better level, because you compete against players that are playing fully professional in Europe, fully professional in other countries. So there's a lot that needs to be done. I'm not sure if we are ready yet for a professional league, because there's a lot of things that we are not doing right. But I think it's high time we step up and make South African women's football professional. But it's important to make sure administratively we're playing it very well, because we don't want to start something that is going to collapse. And yeah, I think the coaches have done well. Also in terms of their education, they're doing great. You see Coach Tina spend some time in Scotland trying to improve and get knowledge and to try and get women's football to another level. Coach Shodi has been doing well. Coach Dunga was also part of the Banyana setup, so it's beautiful to see. But there's a lot of things that need to be done for women's football.
Yeah,
I hope you are having a question. You're not adding on to what Kholosa is saying.
I don't know if there's anything that government can do to once and for all professionalize women's sports in the country. Because football-wise, those ones that suffer, there's no capacity to do it. It will never happen.
You've lost hope there.
Yeah, no. If we leave it to suffer, it will never happen. We must just forget about it. I think I just don't know if government can do it. Maybe government go out, lobby sponsors, try and find money somewhere, and let's just do this once and for all. In cricket, the ladies have got national contracts. They get paid to do this thing. In rugby, they've got national contracts. In netball, the Proteas netball players have got national contracts. It's only our ladies who don't. And of course, we have to give credit to Hollywood Beds for putting their money there. We have to give credit to Sasol and some of the other companies that are putting money in there. But you feel it's not enough. The Hollywood league is not a professional league. Some of the stuff that happens there are really not good. But you can't blame the sponsor because they need support, but I think at some stage we really need to stop talking about this thing and just do it, because at the rate we are going daily, it's just not enough. I mean, for the ladies to have gone to the next round of a World Cup, playing against fully professional people when there's no league here. It says, can you imagine if there was a professional league in this country? What would they do? We'll probably win the World Cup, So, but the SAFA, let's just leave that thing of SAFA. Let's go to government.
Yeah, no, influencer really has no faith whatsoever for SAFA. So hopefully the South African government can try and assist us, and of course corporate as well, jumping in to assist the women's game in South Africa. And then when we look into, of course, what's coming up this week, it is Mamelodi Sundowns take on Sekhukhune. It's the Nedbank Cup. That was supposed to happen long time ago, but because there was double booking of a stadium, so unfortunately the Sundowns game had to be moved. Fire, you look into a Sundowns side who've had 8 Bafana Bafana call-ups playing for Bafana. They probably arrive sometime this week. They might miss a Wednesday training session, but they should then be available on the Thursday. But going into that Friday encounter and with Coach Kholosa as well, players availability, fitness, talk to us about that Sundowns setup and really what they will be capable of doing against a really good Sekhukhune side.
I think with Sundowns, they've got their management, the way they manage the team, even to manage the players. They've got enough pool of players. And it's like in Bafana Bafana, when Obas is playing and Tebogo is not playing at Sundowns, you don't see that much difference. I don't think it's going to help them that much. And the way I see Cardoso doing things, I think he'll give them a rest, 1 day rest, so that they regenerate for the game. So I don't see any problem in terms of Sundowns. But Sekhukhune, you don't take them light. You see where they are on the log. Nobody expected that, but one thing that worries me is they just fired the coach, and now the tactics will change. Are they going to change? Are they going to come the same way? Because now it means the players are still learning, and you look where Sundowns is. So it means it will be a walk in the park for Sundowns. If they are going to change the strategy and want the players to understand and adapt, But if they continue the way they were still playing, because, it's not easy as a player to change from one discipline to the other. So we will see. But one would say, yes, Sundowns is a top team. Sundowns is buzzing now, and Sekhukhune is not going to be a walk in the park.
And then, Fox, when you look into that encounter, I mean, you listen to Tinkler, who goes on to say that one thing that he's found that Skukuna needs to work on is the final third in terms of creativity that he believes that they've been lacking. But before the break, he had, of course, a victory and one defeat, which was against Stellenbosch. So how do you expect them to try and get a victory against a very good Mamelodi Sundowns on paper?
I think when you play against Sundowns, they are defending champions of the league. They've won a lot in the past 7 years. So you go in that game already motivated. You know it's a cup game. You just have to fight. So it's not going to be easy for Sundowns. I don't think at this level there's an easy game. I think Skukuna has done well so far this season. Yeah. They also had time to prepare. They had a break.
They've been training twice this week, eh?
So, yeah. Okay, that might be a worry also. That might be a worry.
I mean, pre-season or what's going on?
They are pushing,
yeah. But I think also Coach Eric is trying to have more time training with them, because it might be twice a week, but it might be, twice a day, but there might be a lot of videos being watched, a lot of how we going to do things, going onto the field and walking things through. So, yeah, I think he's had a lot of time to prepare, given the fact that he just came in. But I know Mamelodi Sundowns is a top team. They have great players. Any player that comes on for Mamelodi Sundowns will always deliver, and I'm looking forward to that game. But it's interesting because there's a game on Friday for Sundowns and there's a game on Monday. So we'll see how they manage that squad there.
It definitely is interesting, Influencer, and we're talking about that scheduling. Perhaps also touch on it because you look, as Kholosa rightfully mentioned, they play Friday, Monday, and then you look into an Orlando Pirates that will then play the following week.
Yeah, for me, it beats me that Pirates are not playing. I really don't understand why Pirates are not playing. Pirates should be playing. They should be catching up. But that's a story for another day. to go back to the Sundowns match, I think from the beginning, my sense is that postponed match should have been played on Sunday. Or that match could have easily been played on the same day that the ladies were playing. I don't think, obviously, logistical issues to keep in mind. Yeah. But the ladies were playing at 3. Sundowns were going to play at 8 o'clock. Surely you can have contingency plans of how to navigate around that difficult situation. I think it should have been played, or at the very least, it should have been played on Sunday. Because Sundowns stayed in camp that Saturday, still trying to negotiate with whoever was in charge to say, let's play on Sunday. But Skukuna were already out of a camp on Saturday because they were told, no, leave this thing, we are not going to play. So that's where the problem is. That's why Sundowns are in this situation. And the players can talk here. I mean, if you are a Ronan Williams who has played 290 minutes with traveling, having to come back here, they are arriving today. As Fire says, they will give them maybe you'll get a day off. Tomorrow we'll do regeneration, whatever the case may be. You'll play a match on Friday. It's a serious cup match, must-win match, and then you've got Champions League a few days later. It's a bit much. I know Sundowns players have been through this program, but it's a bit much when you filter in the fact that there's been traveling involved. I mean, they may have 1 or 2. I mean, the Zimbabwean players were in Nigeria also. They are traveling. They've got, I think Devin Lunga was in the team, or some of the players there. Unfortunately, Namibian players was in Polokwane. I mean, it's just here, you know. So can you imagine if he was in Morocco or North Africa somewhere there? So it's complex, but they've been doing it. I'm sure they'll be able to navigate around it. I mean, over the last few weeks, they've been playing weekend Wednesday, and then they've been doing it, you know.
Can I quote one of your favorite coaches?
Yes.
I believe he used to say, are you not tired of us? We are here.
We were just here yesterday. People are crying there. So, they will be there. They've got experience.
So they've done it,
Also, I think the other good thing with this in FIFA break was that for the technical team, the coach has been talking about fatigue, that he can't sleep enough. And I saw there were pictures of him in the safari there. I think he went to the booth to see the animals. He'll probably come back a little bit more refreshed. The players who were not with the national team, I'm sure also they were properly managed, they'll be fresher. If he decides to rest the national team players, I'm sure they can be able to fill the strong team of the players who were here, not on national team duty, to be able to compete and get them into the last round. You must remember this match is important because if Sundowns win here, it's Chiefs there. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
The fans will be looking forward for that one. It should be a
another
cracker.
sold out, hey? But I mean, Kholosa, when you look into, just briefly, into the Betway Premiership, and really we talk about as Kokune that have been doing well this season, what have you made of the season and really the surprise packages? I mean, we've also just learned that SuperSport United fired coach Gavin Hunt, or well, they parted ways mutually.
Fired.
No, parted ways.
He was fired.
No, parted ways.
Okay.
Mutually. So we spoke about it and we agreed and we said, okay, cool, thanks, bye. But talk to us about what you've seen in the league, and really, I know the youngsters are also something that you're proud of, so also how they've shown up in the season.
I think it's been an interesting season. I think, honestly, Polokwane City has done great. I think they started the season very well, even though the results haven't been in their favor recently.
Yeah.
But I think they started well, and once you start well, at least you get chances to stay up in the log. Sekhukhune has done well. I don't think I'm surprised by Sekhukhune. I watched them last season and I could see it was coming. The young players also, I think they've stepped up. If you look at Pirates, the centre back has done really well. He came in there, he replaced the injured centre back. I think, yeah, they've done so well, and I think it's high time also we support them. But I think most importantly, I think they should also try and be disciplined and not be carried away, stay humbled.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of young international tournaments that are coming up, like the Wafcon. That's coming up, I think, for them. The coaches are happy to see the youngsters doing well, and for Bafana, it means there's a great future there.
There definitely is. You want to jump in quickly, influencer?
She's right, because I just didn't get to watch the under 20s. That under 20 team is very good.
It's doing well, yeah.
Lots of good individual players, as Kholosa is saying. That's where they must be tested, really. If they go to AFCON and do well there. We may have junior AFCON winners here. You know, I mean, you remember England not so long ago, they won the World Cup in the junior categories. Most of those players transitioned into the senior national team. So Kholosa is right that they must not be too. In South Africa, we've got this thing of hyping the youngsters too much. Just calm down and let them play. And Bogazi is all over the place, and I hope the people around him they show him the right way.
He seems to have a good support around him.
He remains calm and just play football, and then you'll never know. At that AFCON there will be scouts there.
Yeah.
If you do well there, you are, from there you are going to.
Or can't I?
You are going to Charles de Gaulle or those airports there in Europe. You never come back here. Go and make money and play top football.
100%.
So it's important that we must be very careful as how we handle these young kids.
And then Fire, just to know what you're going to add on, because there's a whole lot of adding on. So you stick to SuperSport United, Gavin Hunt being fired, and really now the future of SuperSport United and the rest of the league.
I think they are in a very difficult situation because I don't think the problem was the coach. He did well all along. Previously, he won the league 3 times and all that. He came back. They did well, but now they were like on a slump. But the problem that I see with SuperSport is they don't look like they want to win the league. They don't look like they want to win trophies. They look like a team that wants to be in the top 8, develop players, sell to Sundowns, develop, sell. So how do you then expect to produce if you sell your machines?
Yeah.
So it's surprising. It's not. I don't blame Gavin. I don't think Gavin has got anything to even say when they're saying we are selling Mahlatse. We are making money. We are running a business here.
Yeah.
You are an employee, Gavin. Now what?
100%. I mean, when influencer, you would know all too well about this business model as an Arsenal fan, because for the longest time as well, that's what you do.
So we're going there.
I'm just putting it out there. But when you look into really SuperSport and the conversation that you've had with the players, and really when you look into that crippling effect, because as much as you let go of the players, you must find a way to replace it. And you look into a TS Galaxy side, yes, they sell players, but then when they sell, the players that are bringing up, they are somehow ready. Whereas with SuperSport, You got to be patient. You got to wait it out. And it really is difficult for any coach.
I mean, from the top of my head, over the last few years, Aubrey, Tebza, Ronwen, Sipho Mbule, they've sold so many players to Sundowns, and in big money, not 2 million, or some of these players are 20 million, to 15 million, whatever. And you know, the problem that SuperSport also find themselves in is that it appears to me that the money that they get, the big money they get from these players, does not get invested back into the club to replace these players. It's all good to have all these DDC players coming through, and some of them really have not stepped up to the same levels as the Debzas and the Ronzas and all that.
But it's the need of those senior players that we're talking about as well, around them.
Yeah, you know, so they don't adequately replace. I know sometimes you can't really replace like for like because of quality and all those kinds of things. Yeah. It appears to me that the money is being taken elsewhere to run the club somewhere, not in terms of just fully focusing on replacing. Stellenbosch have done it very well. Yeah. But also Stellenbosch to their advantage also is, in a way, almost when they replace like for like in terms of quality. You don't feel that if player A leaves, then the kid coming from DDC is too much different from what the player A used to offer them. So it's a tricky one, and also even with Coach Gavin. I mean, I've got a lot of respect for Coach Gavin. You know, we talk a lot and stuff, and I think sometimes maybe the break can do him a lot of good, just to sit back, you know, reflect. Football these days is a little bit, you know, I don't want to say it has left him, because I mean, not so long ago he was doing the KFA license, you know, which means he has kept abreast with the latest developments in football.
For sure.
Maybe he needs a break just to reflect a little bit. He can be a little bit stubborn, Coach Gavin, in terms of the way he wants things to be done, and sometimes you must be flexible and all that. Let's see how they do under Coach Andre. You know, a top goalkeeper in his day and a big player and all those kinds of things. Maybe a change of things, how they do things there, can work for them. They've got good football people there. Andre is a good football person. Coach Grant, Peter's goalkeeper. Bafana. He played with him, you know. So yeah, let's see how they do. But they are in a very, very, very tricky situation.
Yeah.
You know, SuperSport and second from the last one, the log, is very, very tricky. And over the last 2 weeks, the teams just above them won. So you're in trouble if you get there.
All right, so while we're at it, because we are running out of time, you played at SuperSport. Perhaps also share a fond dressing room memory. And I ask dressing room because I find that to be a really special place. And a lot of stories always come up, who the clowns were, and really perhaps we've heard interesting stories about coaches, what they say in dressing rooms. So perhaps a special one that comes from the top of your mind that you stay at SuperSport?
I remember we were playing at Caledonia, and
that used to be a slaughterhouse. That one. Yo,
and I don't really remember who were we playing against, but we had Michael. I think it was Michael
Atting.
Yes. Oh yeah, Kevin Sibeko Shakes. He was playing with John Mead, may his soul rest in peace. Yeah. They were playing Central. So Shakes was not really helping, or at least taking instructions from John. And when we got into the dressing room, the first thing that John said to the coaches, like in front of the board, if you don't take this boy out, I'm coming.
What?
If you don't take him out, I'm going. No, it's too much. I'm working like extra time, you know. And I was surprised. But John was that kind of he was a leader. I mean, he was a leader. I mean, even myself, when I got to SuperSport, John helped me a lot. Yeah. Because I was playing a very, different football. But he taught me how to play football. Because I was kicking it. I was not playing football. I used to kick football. But he taught me how to play football. So it takes you back to what I said before, that the senior players, they make new players, young players to settle. So like, he was brave. He told Bruce, the coach was Bruce by then, Bruce Kobler.
Yeah.
And you know what happened?
What happened?
John stayed in the pitch, and the rest is history.
They took him out there.
Gotta listen to John, eh?
Yeah, but John was a big character. I mean, I remember the match that I always talk about at FNB with Bafana Brazil. John Moeti was in that number 6 role. He took Dunga head on in that match. That's how. And John was not the late John was not a tall guy. He was a short guy like this, but he had a heart of a lion. And you know, as I always say, you know, we don't normally produce those type of players anymore. And you know, to play for Bafana in those days was not easy. It was not easy. Not anyone could play for Bafana in those days.
What about you, Kholosa? I mean, yes, you're still playing, but I'm sure there's also a special one in the ladies' dressing room.
Yeah, spill the beans.
Spill the beans.
Let me think. I think for me, it's me, you know. I think this one time, I think we're playing in, was it Senegal or something? Yeah, but I was doing so well, like it was great, enjoying myself and everything. Halftime, next thing, Kholosa, off. I still go back and think about it even now. I'm like, no. And I cried, you know, I cried. They said I cried. But the rest of the players came to me to give me hugs, and I was like, it's fine, it's part of the game, man. But at least we went on to win that game, and after that I'd forgotten about that. So sometimes it's just not about you only, you know, when you play, it's not just about you. The coaches have plans, and once they feel like, okay, we've done great now, you can sit out, the next player can come in, and actually the next player can come in and replace you, so never think that you are irreplaceable. And I must be humble. I was humbled there also, you know, so but it's always a great experience to take it back and look back and see, sometimes you think you are there, but no. Still, I was humble.
So did you kick the cooler box?
No, I didn't. My toes are not ready for that. But just took off my shirt and.
Yeah, because sometimes the players look, especially when you are replaced, not in the dressing room during the match. Yeah. Like you see, it happens all the time when a player feels I'm passing, I'm pushing, and then they take you out. And obviously they will walk slow. Sometimes don't even high five the coach. They go sit there, take over the shirt, and start kicking everything. You come across as being arrogant, but we forget that this is an emotional game.
Yeah, true.
You know, and footballers, we always say, footballers are human beings before they're footballers, and you have got to understand. It's just like me, if I'm get shouted to at work, and you know, I'll be angry and all the stuff, and obviously I'm not on TV. You know, but that's what happens.
And there's no cooler box next to you
and
either.
There's no cooler box next to you.
But when you then look into, of course, the coaches who play a special role as well, you've worked with many coaches, I think the special man, our very own special man, that being Pitso Misumane, I mean, talk to us about him. You worked with him, and really you were talking about how you guys made each other. Talk to us about that relationship.
I think, you know, like then and now. You know, there's Pitso then. There's Pitso now. I think SuperSport was the first team, a professional team, he coached. So you'll understand. He wanted perfection. He wanted everything to be 100%, which is impossible in the world, not just in football, in the world. It's impossible for one to be 100%. So Pitso is a tactician, the best ever. He's a bookworm. You know, he loves football. He was not sleeping. He would watch Brazil, he would watch Germany, he would watch Spain. And he'll combine all the three to make one team. Yeah. And he'll play like those teams in one game with one team. He's something different. Everybody will tell you, particularly those who were at SuperSport when Pitso started to coach, that he was too much. He was hammering us. You know, he would tell us, 10 o'clock you must be asleep. I'm married, I've got a wife. It's Friday or it's Thursday. The schedule, the timetable in the house says eating out. Now, Please.
You must be at home,
Explain.
You must be at home,
Well, he wants us to put like your telecom lines. Like, remember the phones? You must have that in the house. You know? So, you see, I'm a father. Now, here's a coach telling me how to run my family affairs. Who's going to pay for the line? You know? But for him, it was a good thing to do by then. You know? So, today, as I'm sitting here and I reflect, I see it differently.
Sure.
You know, to say, why? Because for everything that happened, there's a reason for everything that happened. So you see, number one, he wanted you to be the best player ever. He wanted to save you because we had youngsters, Kevin Smeko, Dennis Masina, Dentlade, Richard Ranji, you know, Senki Mkajwa, you know. So now you are sitting here and you are saying, okay, this guy was not really talking to, you know, your senior players, those who were, he was talking to the whole team, but the message was for the youngsters.
Yeah.
You know, but then you think, this guy is saying this now, I must not take my wife out, this and that, I must put the phone in the house and all these things. But now you see things differently.
For sure.
Because you are also matured as a footballer. You know, yeah. So, I mean, he Pizzo has made most of us, you know. And lately when he was at Sundowns, I met him.
Yeah.
I wanted to register for a course at the one of tertiary institutions. He paid for me. We used to fight a lot when I was at SuperSport, you know. But now you see, but okay.
You know, one of the fights, he parked at the coach's parking where they bought the car. That one was a bit tricky.
Fire? Please, they park everywhere. How can a car Lamborghini go park something? You know? But it was nice. Like, you know, I wish we'd seen it the way we see it now.
Yeah.
To see, but you know, he's trying to hype us up, you know, he's trying to make jokes, but we were too serious.
No, I'm glad that you've got that hindsight. Kholosa, your side, coach's relationship, who stands out for you currently in your footballing career?
I think the coach that I've worked with for the longest was Coach Tina Songembuli. I met her when I was still in university, first year in Durban. So I think she groomed me a lot, given the fact that I was from the Eastern Cape and development-wise I was lacking, and we managed to work with each other until I left UWC, I think 2022. So that has been a long relationship, but I learned a lot from her. She's also a demanding coach that I also think at times we feel as players that they go crazy with us. But if you look back and see, I think she's done a lot for women's football also, not just myself. She's at Banyana now, and it's great to see the great things that she's achieving. She went to CAF. Recently she won COSAFA. So but I think she's a great coach, and she's still going to be a better coach.
100%. And then, Fire, when we talk about your retirement, I mean, I wish you had more time, but we don't. Your retirement, how it came about, and also perhaps also squeeze in how you helped or assisted Andy Lekele to also retire in his career after that unfortunate incident.
No, you know, when I retired, my contract was done at SuperSport. So it was off-season, and I had something on my groin. So I thought, it's a groin injury. I know, I mean, as players we know, groin takes this long, and whatever takes this long, this and that.
For sure.
So I waited for, after I got my clearance from SuperSport, I waited for maybe 2-3 weeks before the pre-season, and I went to the doctor. I went to the physio first for 3 weeks, and nothing was happening. And I'm saying, what's happening now? The physio said, but I think you must go to the doctor. You're not healing. You should have been fine by now. I went to the doctor. They prescribed medication for me. I had the medication, and I went for almost a week. Then the doctor said to me, no, man, I don't know what's happening with you. Go to the scanner. The one that you
MRI,
MRI, yes. They took that and they couldn't see anything. And there's an injection that they use, and it will make like dark wherever the problem is. That's where they saw Gucci, something is not right. They gave me the result. I went to the doctor. When I looked at him, whilst he was reading, I could see this is very serious. And he said to me, I think you must say goodbye to football. You have cancer.
Sure.
And I had a call from Durban Stars. By then they were playing, I think, in the lower division. And my intention was to play for Durban Stars in the upcoming season, because I spoke to the owner and he told me that I want to plan the team around you, this and that, you know. Yeah, so I had cancer.
Are you fine now?
100%.
100%.
Like nothing happened.
Goodness gracious.
By the grace.
By the grace. I'm happy that you are A-okay. We need you to come back so you can tell us about your story with Ucele. But that's where we're going to leave it today. It's been absolutely fantastic. Hopefully you enjoyed this conversation. And the analyst, of course, from my amazing panel. We'll do it again next week. You have yourself a fantastic time. We'll see you on the next Arena Sports Show. Cheers. Goodbye.